So, contrary to a lot of people on TikTok, I do not pretend to be neutral because the situation in Gaza affects me and my loved ones directly. But I will just say one very clear message to that Muslim, Arab, gay, yes, all these titles, South African veterinarian who is so disturbed by what is happening to innocent people in Gaza, as he should be, but is not willing to denounce the very cause of what happened in Gaza, which is jihadist Islamic terror. Shame on you. To all those people who are so disturbed by what is happening in Gaza, but are not disturbed by what happened on October 7th, to animals, babies, I don't know, children, what is women, old, young, families, every human being, every animal that was on their way was severely and horribly executed. And that didn't disturb them. No. So October 7th happened in 2023, a date I will remember not only because it could have been here in this very place where we are filming, without pity parties, just a fact. Their path was here, Central Israel, but my dog started having seizures around that time. So I will definitely remember October 2023 as being a pivotal point in my life. And maybe when you're sitting there and you're trying to think, what would a good person do? I have to make a video for the people, innocent people of Gaza that are being starved. But, Israel is giving them aid. I think the list is going on and on to countries that are bringing aid to Gaza. And I'm not talking about Greta, who just comes to make noise. I'm talking about real aid. They're getting food, they're getting medication, whatever they need. But you know who's not getting it? The Israeli hostages. Maybe there are not a lot of them, but for innocent people who've suffered terribly and whose children are being massacred, they sure have time to make videos of starving hostages, mocking them, and presenting them as victims of the same ideology as took over Europe in World War II. They're getting a hostage that they starved. I mean, to get to a level of skin and bones, you need to be starved for a long time, a very long time. And the people that are filming them and starving them and keeping them hostage know very well they can end the war like that. They just have to release them today. The war is finished. They have to stop throwing rockets into Israel. The war would be finished. So all those people who think they should spend a lot of deep emotions, that Arab veterinarian from South Africa with a beautiful accent confessing, yes, he is gay, yes, he know they would throw him off the roof, but he doesn't care because he wants to speak out for what is right. If you want to speak out for what is right, first of all, denounce the evil doing behind what happened in Gaza. And it's not the Israeli soldiers, and it's not the Israeli people, and it's not Jewish people, but it's the very people who decided that making a grotesque film that should be shown in a film festival, yes, of how a human being is kidnapped from a music festival, being held hostage in underground tunnels. For that you have time, but to protect your children and to give them a future, you don't have that. So how in the world is anyone in Israel responsible for people making a decision to making disgusting films of starved hostages, making disgusting films of dancing around coffins of a baby and a child and their mother, and whose dog you murdered. So this veterinarian from South Africa who's from Arab origin, oh, he doesn't care that he's a gay person because he doesn't care that gay people are being murdered. He cares that children and babies are being, and innocent people were being murdered in Gaza. But he doesn't care enough to say what the cause is. And as a doctor, it's not enough you diagnose the situation, but you have to, it's not enough you recognize that there is a condition of illness, but you have to diagnose what is the cause. And the cause of what's happening in Gaza is not an Israeli soldier's fault, and not an Israeli person's fault, or a Muslim Israeli's fault, or anybody's fault, but it is the fault of the people that are making these disgusting films of our hostages, of not just Israeli hostages, by the way. There is Nepali hostage, and there are many hostages, many countries that were murdered and massacred and kidnapped. Among us, yes, innocent people, they did nothing, and innocent animals. The cows that were massacred, executed, had nothing to do with any conflict. Neither did the family dogs and cats that were massacred, and some of them kidnapped and abused in Gaza. So when you're making a film and you're expressing how horrified you are at what's happening in Gaza and how terrible, and it is terrible. As a doctor, as a veterinarian, if you're a veterinarian, you should be horrified that you cannot diagnose the cause. And the cause is the same reason why you, as a gay veterinarian, Arab, South African, whatever, you cannot live freely in an Arab country, because they don't tolerate you. They don't tolerate anyone who's not their carbon copy. And even their carbon copy are forced to dig their own graves and are being executed. We have documents of what their horrible leaders did to them. Anyone who doesn't agree with, who doesn't parrot what they say, will dig their own grave. So when you are horrified by innocent people, you should be horrified by your lack of denouncing the not innocent people, the evil people with the jihadist ideology that don't really care about anyone, not even their own children. So that's what I have to say to the gay South African Muslim Arab veterinarian who took time from his day, from his very busy schedule, to denounce what's happening in Gaza, but not denounce what the cause, the very root cause of what happens in Gaza is. And it's not that anyone is going out there and say, oh, let's go kill innocent people, or let's go kill them as revenge, which is a very leftist, communist, crazy ideology. But the reason they're being killed is because they're still holding hostages, and they're still continuing to declare their intention of recreating October 7th and doing the same thing again. And they're throwing rockets, and they're still throwing rockets, and they still aren't willing to put down their arms, and they still don't care how many children and innocent people are being killed. And if anyone is starving people in Gaza, it's not the IDF, it's not the people that are bringing aid there. Not only is Israel bringing humanitarian aid to Gaza, but other countries are being allowed to bring humanitarian aid. They don't have a shortage of food, but they have a shortage of the ability to get the food because their own leadership is not allowing them the food and the humanitarian aid, just the way they don't give the hostages food. So if anybody's starving them, you should point the finger at that instead of making this general sweeping generalization of what a horrible situation, and guess who's responsible for it? Yes, the people that are being attacked in Montreal and in Australia and everywhere for being Jews, because as long as you don't attack the jihadist Nazi ideology that causes Gaza to have become what it has become, you haven't dealt with the problem. And as a doctor, veterinarian, gay, South African, you should be dealing with the cause, the root cause of this disease. And it's not the Israelis defending their country from the terrorists. It's not the Israelis that are there so they won't be here. It's not the Israelis that are rescuing animals and would rescue children, but rescuing children means to take them away from their parents, therefore kidnapping, which we cannot do. So when you state your horror at the situation, maybe you should denounce the jihadist regime that is responsible for the situation. But as long as you don't do that, you really aren't saying anything. You really are pointing the finger and blaming the wrong side. So before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. Gay, Arab, South African veterinarian who cares so much about innocent people, but not enough to denounce the evil jihadist that is not only denouncing you as a gay Muslim person, but is denouncing anyone who's not their carbon copy and doesn't care about the innocent people, as long as they can play a pity party and get the world to hate Israel and get the world to hate Jews. And guess what? For the most part, they've succeeded, because there's a lot of people in the world that believe anything. There's a soccer boy every minute, people who don't research. But I expect people that are educated, professors in Harvard, gay veterinarians from South Africa, to do a little bit of research and to have the courage and sorry to say that word, the balls, to actually denounce the very cause. But they don't have that courage. They don't have the motivation to stop it. They prefer to set all the pit bulls on Israel and not really deal with the cause, the very root of the evil that's caused the heartbreaking situation in Gaza and in Israel, and that's the jihadist terror who are filming starved hostages digging their own graves. That is the root of evil. And as long as you just put it out there, oh, there's bad things happening in Gaza, but you don't really point the finger to what, and you don't denounce the very root cause, you're not doing anything and you're not saying anything. You might as well just be quiet, because it's even worse, actually. Because once you accuse the wrong people, once you cause the whole world to hate us, it's not Prime Minister Netanyahu that caused the whole world to hate us. It's not the government. It's not the Israeli government that caused it. It's the very people that orchestrated October 7th. They're the reason that this situation in Gaza has occurred. Because Jews refuse to be victims, refuse to commit suicide, refuse to allow these people to enter our country and to film again their film festival of horror. So if you want to say something, denounce the evil that caused what's happening in Gaza. And it's not Zionism, and it's not the Israeli government, and it's not a lot of people, but what it is jihadist Islam, the same one who are endangering the gay South African veterinarian and had massacred animals that he loves so much, and yet he doesn't care enough to pinpoint the finger to, because he himself has been brainwashed that you cannot denounce a Muslim person, you can only denounce a Jew or a Christian. And that is the real tragedy of Gaza in a nutshell of almost 14 minutes. Peace, light, and love to all those who seek peace, light, and love.